All right, we're in the historic distillery district in downtown Toronto, and I'm going to take you guys to one of my favorite coffee shops. It's called Balzac's. Chris and I are going to review a couple books and do some coffee and contemplation. Hey Chris, where are we going?
So we're going to Balzac's.
Where's Balzac's? What is Balzac's?
Balzac's Coffee is a chain in Toronto that serves delicious coffee, especially their maple blend. I think it's a seasonal, just for October, or rather the fall. And there's a really sick spot in the distillery district that we're going to.
All right, welcome. So we're sitting here at Balzac's. This is one of my favorite coffee shops in the city of Toronto. And basically we're coming here to review some books. This series is going to be called Coffee and Contemplation, where we just kind of talk about our interests, spirituality, law of attraction, everything weird. And so my name's Jeff Cameron. This is our first vlog type video. And this is my brother, Christopher Cameron. He has the exact same interests. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, like Jeffrey just said, my name's Christopher Cameron. I'm the youngest brother of the family, and I also just share a deep passion with this material of just awareness, mindfulness, all of it. So
cool. So we have a couple books in front of us, and I think we're going to start with, I know this is Christopher's favorite book.
Yeah,
favorite author.
Blue Truths by
Truth.
David Data.
David Data. That's really not picking up there. It's focusing on us. But this is Blue Truth by David Data.
But
and
the front cover says a spiritual guide to life, death, love, and sex. And then, that's pretty well all of it.
Very mysterious indeed.
Here, this is pretty fitting, actually. Feel your terror of completely letting go, just as you are right now. While feeling this essential fear, open deeper than the fear. Practice the feeling open as a deep source and texture substance of this moment. Be the water, feeling open from depth through your life's serpent's currents and out beyond the moment's open verge. Practice feeling open all day as love's unclenched offering.
Wow.
Pretty good shit.
Yeah, so a lot of this book, you could just meditate on one sentence or a paragraph. It's very profound, but honestly, the thing that came to mind when we read that was Bruce Lee. He always talked about be like water, be formless.
Yeah.
And so just this, even the act of making this video itself takes a little bit of courage. We're not used to doing this, but just to be able to sit with that discomfort and move forward anyways, and sort of just accept the pain and awkwardness of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a fear even jumping in, doing this and posting it even, but you have to start somewhere. And I think we are going to look back on this video and be like, damn, we were rough then, and then we'll be pros after.
Yeah, exactly. So, if that's going on in your own life, how can you apply that to your own life? If there's something you haven't started, maybe there's a relationship you want to get into, maybe you just want to put your voice out there, whatever it is, there's going to be an awkward beginning. First dates can often be very awkward, especially for me. Starting a new job, starting a new hobby, whatever it is, it's going to be awkward at first. But just having that sort of witness consciousness and to realize that you're not the awkwardness, you're not the pain, just to move with it, not to fight against it. And that's how things...
Great, almost like use that exact emotion and do it anyways. I was a different person before reading this book, and just the change in my life has been night and day, light years. Like you saw it firsthand.
I did, yeah.
A lot of this book too is just basically talking about getting into a state of openness, and we're either open in this moment or we're closed, and you live life of closure. And what I mean by closure is when you get caught up in your past experiences always, and you let that define you, and you're not open into the moment. And closure, we all have habits of closure for sure, but this book just really teaches you how to open. Like I was heavily closed before reading this book, and this book super opened me up to life and the world around you.
And before we move on to that next book too, I would just ask whoever's watching, are you in a state of closure What are the signs of being in closure? In my mind, closure is being chronically obsessed with the future or the past. You're in a state of clenching. You can see in people's body language.
Yes.
You can see in their eyes. Is there a light in the eyes? Is your body open? Sometimes you can make a physical shift, just like opening your body or listening or just focusing on something in the present moment, and you can take yourself into that place of openness. And if you are stuck in that place of closure, just check in with yourself throughout the day. Am I in that sort of unconscious, closing, waiting, kind of clenched feeling? And if you are, and you notice that, then you can kind of just take a beat, open yourself up, smell the roses, so to speak, and kind of practice this, being in the state of openness more often.
Right, yeah. And it really is more of an intuitive thing. Like, it's really not rocket science, but it is just like, are you open or are you closed? And feel the difference in even those two words. And it's a practice, but openness is good, and it allows you to convey your truth and love in the moment.
Okay, so let's move on to another book. This is another favorite book, Psycho-Cybernetics. And it's just not catching, and that's okay. But that's Psycho-Cybernetics, and it's by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And I'll just give a brief explanation of this book, and I'll let you chime in. Basically, Dr. Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon, and he realized when he did surgery on people, maybe he did a nose job or he removed a scar or something, he realized that people's personalities would change. Their internal view of themselves would change, and they would unlock untapped charisma, untapped humor, and essentially it would just allow them to be more of themselves. So he speculated that we have an outer self-image, the way we actually look, and then we have an inner self-image. And depending on our inner self-image, it kind of controls, that inner self-image controls how we operate, how much of our genius we're able to tap into, how much of our humor we're able to tap into. So the premise of this book is how you develop a better self-image. And I know, Chris, you've read this book a couple times. Why don't you just give the cliff notes of like how that's possible?
It's worth a reread for sure. It's been a while since I read it, but I think one of the deep underlining things about this book is talking to your subconscious. And the way to actually change your self-image is by, through repetition, talking to your self-conscious, convincing, the underlayer of your mind of, be it your attractiveness, your presence, everything. It's building that bridge to your subconscious.
And this is something he talks about in this book. The way to communicate with your subconscious is through emotion. He highlights 3 different forms of kind of accessing that. And one of them is visualization. So the ability to see yourself acting a certain way. So if you're shy, you're not confident, imagine yourself being confident when you enter the room. If you have weird emotions around money, maybe you're lacking in that department, see yourself already having the wealth, see yourself being that person who can be a good steward of money. And so the idea is you're using visualization as a way to tap into the emotion, the feeling of what you want, the person you want to be. And when you communicate in that way with your subconscious through the feeling, through repetition, you'll actually become that.
Yeah.
And so the second way he also talks about is affirmation. And it's the same deal. You're writing down affirmations from the end, tapping into the feeling of it. And then once you've implemented both those things into your life, actually just enact it, act out, even if you're not ready. Even us like making this video right now, we're not ready necessarily, but we're just acting it out confidently. Right. And one day we'll catch up with that. And our subconscious is listening to us right now.
Right.
And we're taking on the identity of someone who can do this.
And the really neat thing about subconscious is that it doesn't know the difference between what's quote unquote real in this moment happening versus your imagination. So you can imagine fully a circumstance that's not happening in the physical reality, but in your brain, and it'll take it in as, real.
Yeah.
And that's the power of it, is that you don't need like a physical emotional impact. It helps in certain times, but you can fully craft it and create it right now in your mind and imagination.
So the mind doesn't know the difference between reality or not when you're using your imagination. And this goes both ways. right? Like if you're watching the news and you're taking in a lot of negative things, your body starts to go into fight or flight. You feel like it's happening to you. And then that's going to manifest outwards into your health, into your life. You know, you're going to attract more negative things. So you got to be mindful about what you're getting emotionally involved in. And the beautiful thing is we're creative beings. We can control our thoughts. We can control our imagination. And when you can take control of that, you can actually change your life. Just recognize that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. You can change yourself through emotional impact, and that happens. But if you want to change yourself a more, you know, in the way that he's talking about in this book, it's going to be constant spaced repetition. So just doing it every day and trusting.
Curated, crafted version, then it's the marathon.
And that's a better way to do it too. Like, you know, emotional impacts aren't something you necessarily want in your life,
right?
Unless it's a good thing. That could be good or bad. But I know, Chris, you're a lot better with this though. You write down your affirmations every day. You're always journaling. And it's just a discipline. I want to learn more of that myself.
And I do have fun with it. It's actually it feels good to do. And I do write down like, I'm so goddamn good looking, and
I love that.
I believe it.
I love that.
I feel it.
We should all be using that affirmation.
I mean, I know I'm a relatively attractive person, but I've literally had other people just say like verbatim to me my affirmations, which is really cool.
Yeah, like, I mean, man, I've seen you switch over the years. Like, you guys don't, Chris used to be in a lot of closure, and I watched you do the work on yourself.
I look at past things in memory, and that was a completely different person. It's like, it is just all a practice. It's not all of these books and everything, and this just the whole route. It's not kind of the quick fix. You have to put in the inner work, and it does pay off.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, there's one thing reading these books. Another thing is actually just getting in the habit of the practice of what they're talking about in these books.
Right.
It's a whole other thing. But I've actually seen you transform yourself. So he's someone to listen to on this. On this subject. And so this is a trippy book, and I really love it. And I know this is inspired by a lot of other books too. But this is called, I'm going to put it here, Moving Through Parallel Realities.
That looked like
Moving Through Parallel Worlds. Yeah. So Chris, I'll let you talk about this actually, because I think you read this more recently than me, right?
Right, yeah. This one heavily relates to talking to your subconscious mind as well. But basically, it talks about, in the title, that there are infinite parallel realities that you can step into through the practice of visualization and talking with your subconscious mind to create or step in to the reality that you want to.
So like this reminds me of what Bob says. This is kind of what the Bible says too. I'm definitely not an expert in the Bible or anything, but it's the idea that like creation is already done. So this kind of goes into that like multiverse theory that like every possible version of you exists out there. And what this book is trying to teach you is to step into sort of like the golden timeline, the version of yourself that's the most unlocked, living the life of your dreams. There's versions of yourself that are suffering, and there's versions of yourself that are in a lot of abundance. And this book is kind of laying out the life is almost like a dream, and he calls it different slides. We're seeing different slides.
Yeah.
And whatever's showing up in our life right now is because of past thinking. It's because of past visualization, controlled or not controlled, if we're just in default mode. But the idea is to start shifting your energy and aiming towards the life, consciously aiming towards what you want. And then you're going to start to notice life changing. The dream of life is going to start to change in the favor of what you want.
Yeah, literally the kind of, you shift in, like reality changes, like, or you rather move into a reality that you've chosen. Mm-hmm. It's a little trippy, it's out there, but also like it has so much value, and it is kind of true. Like, I'm gonna butcher the science on this, but the first quarter of the book just goes into like quantum physics level. Like it really, this is actually rooted in science, and
he puts a lot of science in it. Yeah,
I forget exactly what it's
over
called.
Your head, but it'll satisfy that more left brain part of your mind before he gets into actually doing the practices.
Right. And there's the study on certain particles.
Well, it's like the observer effect, right?
Yeah, which is kind of crazy and awesome.
The idea of it
Catching up to it.
is basic. Sorry, I cut you off.
Or no, but a lot of science is now catching up to, or kind of proving all of these spiritual texts,
Yeah.
which I think is cool. But yeah, no, it's like the particle effect. Like when you observe it, it changes its state. So
Yeah, so the act of observing something actually affects the material world around us. And obviously we have no idea what we're talking about when it comes to science.
Right,
But just
no,
broadly, it opens the door to the idea that maybe this isn't just woo-woo and there actually is science behind this. And I know just even out there in the culture, a lot of people are talking about like simulation theory and stuff like that, which is kind of mind-boggling. But that, basic premise kind of fits into it too, which is the idea that consciousness is fundamental, not the material world. And when you start enacting your life from the idea that your thoughts, your consciousness is fundamental, and it trickles down into your life, it empowers you, but also it works.
Right.
I've done certain experiments with myself that I won't go into right now, but it's kind of scary. It's almost kind of overwhelming when it does work.
I have, it's nothing like, I want it to be substantial down the road, but yeah, no, I've had a lot of kind of micro things happen in my life that have happened through the study and application of these books. It's kind of crazy, but also like, I feel like it's crazy just to like diffuse it, but it's very real.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
It is real, yeah. And that's why, that's a lot of the passion why we're making these videos. It's just to kind of get the word out, you know? Like, you're more at the effect of your life than you think. Life is a little bit more magical, That's not to take away from the tragedies and all the stuff going on in the world. I think it's good to be well informed and to take action against things you don't like. But also just recognize that, as Mother Teresa said, if you want peace, preach peace, right? Don't fight against things you don't want. And just recognize that whatever energy you're engaged in is going to manifest into your life. And you know what? It's something that you don't have to learn overnight, but just kind of reading books like this and just kind of expanding your awareness, be gentle with yourself. You can really create miracles in your life. And I think that's a good place to just end this right now. I think all of these books are really great because, David Data, Blue Truth, it's got more of like a spiritual bend to it. Psycho-cybernetics is definitely a bit more of a left-brained. He's a doctor, and it's very, well practiced. He has a lot of examples, so it's a lot more left-brained. And then this one's just really cool. It's a little bit more out there. It goes into the science as well, but this one's just about kind of like manifesting life, your dreams. And all of these books are really profound in different ways. So thank you, Chris.
Thank you
for joining us. This is our first episode, a little bit awkward, we're just getting started, but
thank you guys for taking the time to watch this.
If you made it to the end of this video, congratulations. You might be the only one.
I think even before pressing record, I said the fact that we're doing this means that we're only gonna get better. So
this is true.
I think this is already actually really good content, and it's only gonna get better. So yeah.
So once again, moving through parallel realities.
Really good book. Pick it up.
David Data's Blue Truth.
My Bible.
And Dr. Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics. We'll talk to you guys later on this episode of Coffee and Contemplation.
Coffee and Contemplation.
Have a great day.